Everyone keeps something they don't read anymore. A drawer, a box, a pocket in a coat you swore you'd never wear again. We call it storage, but sometimes it's storage for a storm, because the things we put away don't disappear. They wait, they harden, they listen for footsteps. Here's the part most people never talk about. The smallest paper can carry the heaviest years. And maybe that's where you are right now, keeping something close so it can't hurt you from far away. But then something happened she didn't expect. It started with the weather. Rain had been arguing with the roof all afternoon, the kind of rain that sounds like a clock refusing to calm down. The room was tired, the light was thin, and she wanted quiet. She wasn't looking for trouble, just a jacket. An old one, soft at the collar, faded at the elbows. The kind of jacket that remembers two lives, the person who wore it everywhere and the person who couldn't wear it anymore. She pulled it from the back of the closet. It was heavier than she remembered. There was a scent trapped in the fabric, rain, dust, a trace of winter, and something else that felt like a memory trying to speak. She slid her hand into the right pocket. Empty. A thread snagged like a small warning. Left pocket. Her fingers touched paper. Thin, folded, waiting. The body remembers danger before the mind does. Her breath shortened. Her chest tightened. She didn't want to know. She did. She unfolded the letter. A single page, edges softened by time. The handwriting was familiar, too familiar. There are some voices you don't have to hear to recognize. Ink can speak. She took the letter to the table, placed it flat like a delicate patient, and sat down as if her weight might crack the past. Outside, thunder argued with itself. Inside, the clock forgot how to tick. You want to know what it said? She did too. But the truth doesn't arrive. It returns. And it brings friends, regret, what-ifs, the inventory of could-have-beens. Memories don't fade, they wait for the right silence. She touched the paper again, and the room filled with old seasons. A hallway in a rented apartment, walls too close, a late bus and a laughing voice. Dawn coffee in chipped mugs, promises made in kitchens, plans drawn on napkins. Then the last winter, the phone calls that rang at the wrong time, the argument about everything and nothing, the door that closed too softly to be final, but still managed to end something important. She began to read. Forgive me. 2 words, and she was underwater. I should have said this when it mattered. There's a kind of pain that doesn't sharpen, it deepens. It walks you back to the minute you could have changed everything and refuses to let you leave. The letter told a simple story, but nothing about it was small. There had been a plan, a surprise. A ring that had been bought and hidden. A meal cooked twice, the first time to practice, the second to ask a question. There had been fear too, fear of not being enough, fear of being too much, fear of losing what was already being lost. Then an accident. Not the dramatic kind, the kind quiet enough to pass as bad luck, but loud enough to change the address of a life. A hospital waiting room, a beeping machine, a whisper that said, "Stay with me," to someone who couldn't. The letter apologized for a silence that lasted months, for pride that lasted longer. It said, "I wasn't brave then. I want to be brave now. I hope you find this when you need it, not when it's too late. The jacket is my last good footprint to your door. I chose you. I still choose you. Even if choosing you now only means telling the truth." She reached the end of the page. There was no signature. There didn't have to be. She didn't cry at first. She held the letter like it might float away. She read it again and again. Tears are strange negotiators. They wait until you admit the terms. She cried, quietly at first, then with a sound that had been blocked by bones for years. The jacket on the chair looked like a person resting. The letter on the table looked like a life unfolding. Grief can only measure what love was brave enough to build. What you refuse to say becomes the loudest thing in the room. She stood at the window. Rain softened into a hush. And then, something she didn't expect. Another fold, a second crease within the first. Her fingertips found the edge, a small pocket inside a pocket. Inside it, a photograph. 2 figures, no names. They were younger, brighter in the way people are when they're not counting time yet. The jacket was there too, newer, shoulders squared like belief itself. On the back, day 1 of forever. Her hands trembled. We call things forever because we can't imagine the end, not because the end can't imagine us. She slid the photo beside the letter. The table felt like a small museum. She traced the first line again. "Forgive me?" she whispered. "I would have." Then she found another paper, an address, a city she knew, a date from months ago. The letter was recent, the apology was new. At the bottom it said, "If I can't find the courage, I'll leave this where you can feel it." Had he left the jacket on purpose? Had he hoped she'd one day pull out a life? The phone lit up, a message. "Did you get it?" Then another. "I've been outside for 10 minutes. She turned toward the door, lightning flashed. She opened it. At the bottom step, he stood, older, thinner, eyes that apologized before the mouth could. "I thought you might not read it." Silence. "We could talk," he said. "Sometimes talking is how we keep from saying what needs to be said." I kept the jacket because it smelled like the day we stopped lying to ourselves. I wanted to ask if there was a door still open, not wide, just a crack. She shook her head. "I'm sorry," he said. "I know," she answered. "Will you keep it?" "I'll keep the letter. The jacket belongs to another life." He turned and left, footsteps fading. She folded the letter carefully, placed it in a wooden box that already knew what to do with precious things. She took the photo, smiled once, then slid it behind the letter. She carried the jacket to the balcony and laid it over the railing. Not a toss, not a ceremony, just a letting go. It didn't fall, it didn't fly. It simply hung there, between sky and street. You want a happy ending. We all do, but endings aren't guarantees, they come with terms. Love is not the proof of staying. Sometimes it is the courage to release, she whispered. "I loved you, then I love me." She locked the drawer, made tea. The room felt different, not lighter, just true. Peace isn't what you feel when the storm ends, it's what you choose while it rains. If you're still here, lean closer. You have your own jacket, your own letter you haven't read yet. Maybe it's not paper, maybe it's a message, a forgiveness, a question you keep avoiding. Closure doesn't require the other person's hands, it requires yours. So open the pocket, read the thing, cry if you must, and decide the kind of weight you want to carry forward. Morning arrived. Birds rehearsed their vowels. Light touched the table and rested there like a blessing. She dressed, different jacket, no history sewn into the lining. As she reached for the door, she turned back, not to second guess, but to honor. Some stories don't close, they complete. She stepped outside and into a day that didn't know her history but was willing to learn her pace. No music swelled, no credits rolled, just footsteps, choosing. Just a life, continuing. And maybe your turning point is closer than you think.